Hello everyone, no respawns here. Hope you're having a grand week. So we are back again in Fallout 76, and in this video we're going to be building a responders themed camp. This actually can be themed for pretty much anything because it's going to follow a pretty simple but nice and realistic design. However, I'm in my little headcanon making it a responders camp. So where are we? We are just north of the Wayward, so just here. This is a bit of a high demand spot, just an FYI. So if you keep basically having your camp moved when you try and build here, there are loads of other areas if it's similar style. I chose this one because it's quite flat, and I wanted an area which kind of role-playing wise was close to the starting area. So I've placed down a few bits just to kind of get myself started, and so you'd have to spend ages getting it the right angle. Now, you don't have to have this with the old foundations. The reason why I've put them here, one, because they're a bit obnoxious taken off sometimes, but the reason why I'm putting them here now is because though this ground is quite flat, it's not perfectly flat. And for what I'm aiming to achieve, I'm going to actually put the foundations down. It also does make the defenses, the actual fences here, a little bit easier to place. So you can use these to kind of place them down, snap them to it, and then just kind of pull them off. Let's make this... People always get mad at me when I don't have my foundations facing the same way. So what we're going to do is, this is going to have two of the bigger tents. The bigger tents are really, really cool if you want something that's very kind of camp vibe, but also kind of still feels like a little bit more of an established base. I absolutely adore them, to be honest. But they also do make... these foundations rather make it a little bit easier for you to put these fences down, as you can see. You will have it with these fences where they're just really obnoxious to place. I will actually try and show you how you deal. So here we go. Look, this is a great example. See this is sinking into the ground, but I obviously don't want it that far down, so we're going to take that one off. We're just going to select this, and it will have hopped up. Now we're using the silhouette of where it already is, lining it up, and then we're snapping this one back down here. I mean, I can have it up like that if I want, either or. You might want to just check a little bit to see how aligned they are. Very important when you do that to make sure they're angled and try and snap back onto where you were snapping before. Just cause what you don't want to do is have a situation where you start snapping from here and it's slightly off center. It won't be an issue too much with this one. Shouldn't be. Let's snap from... let's make that a little bit bigger. Okay. Here, you see what we're doing? Because you don't want them too low. Fences are surprisingly finicky to get just right, but once they're just right, they look really, really good. Alright, we'll have that one there then. Same again, because apparently life is cruel and unfair. So yeah, this area is quite flat, but it's not perfectly flat. It's really quite difficult to actually find somewhere that's perfectly flat. It's one of my little bugbears with Fallout 76. It's one of the few ones I have. Is just that Bethesda made this quite substantial camp system, but unfortunately didn't think to make more places for us to actually have flatness. See, you see what I mean? How it's not perfectly straight, but it doesn't actually matter in this instance because that's going to be the entrance. So it's okay. Honestly, I might even... no, let's leave that like that. I might snap that one there, though. That's too high. Fair enough. Right, cool. So next, we're going to put... I want to check the entrance is fine. So I've shown this technique before. So basically, these gates are an absolute obnoxious ball bag to snap in anywhere. Unless you snap them down first, they never snap on. They're just so annoying. However, we're not going to put one of them there, so it's fine anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a kind of entranceway which looks significantly cooler. So we're going to use one of these. Now, I showed this technique in a few videos ago, but obviously because since Fallout Wastelanders has been released, chances are there are lots of new people, so it's always good to show these techniques again. Right, so firstly, you need to get that straight, otherwise it's just not going to work. And that's just not even remotely straight. What's going on? I'm going to quickly just rearrange this part, because I think the fact that they've gone a little bit off-center is a little bit annoying. Normally they don't do that. I don't know why it's decided to be that now. There we go. That's a bit better. It was just that one there. Cool. So now we're a little bit better. Cool. You can spend ages rearranging these. Right, so you see these here. I can snap this like this. Like that, place it down. What I can't do is place this one down until I snap it to one of these. And I'll show you a thing you can do. It's really handy for knowing. So if you're new to Fallout 76, build order and scrapping order enables you to place things that you wouldn't normally be able to place. Which is what we're going to do now. This makes for a really cool looking entranceway as well. Right, so getting that perfectly aligned. Or as aligned as I can be bothered to do. I'm going to snap that there like that. Now, annoyingly, if I want that just freestanding on its own, I can't actually take that off, right? It won't let me because that will then be inaccessible. However, if I snap another one on, and then snap them off like that, suddenly I can have one of those. It's basically, it won't let you snap the stairs if there's one of these immediately next to it. But if then you add another one on, for whatever reason, the rules in place enable you to snap them on. So now we can do this. Now we can do this. And voila. Now, obviously, you can have this, if you want stairs going up there, by all means, just ignore my nonsense and just, snap one of these at the side there. However, I like this as kind of like a doorway, effectively. Now, you can put turrets on there if you want. I'm actually not going to do that, because I just like it as a thing. I've got a few blueprints, as I'm going to show you, but one of them is just my little turret stands. I just wanted that as like a kind of a doorway. And then we're just going to snap one of these, which I only recently learned you can snap these on the side. I had no idea. I didn't realize you could snap them on this one. For those of you who are new and don't know how to get all these defensive bits, by the way, it's probably worth me highlighting it. Again, this is just for the new people that are joining. So basically, the first time you claim any public camp, so public workbench like that, you will unlock all of the defensive items because you need them for your first little mission. Really simple. You'll just get everything in the tab, bar the stuff that I've obviously gotten from the thingamajig, the Adam store. Right, so next we're going to do the tents. These tents, you get it pretty much from any vendor. It used to be you'd only get them from specific vendors. Now you get them from everyone. It's a really, really cool little tent. But obviously, because it doesn't sink into the ground, it means that it can look a little bit weird if the ground isn't uneven. So you can solve that by putting some foundations down. Foundations do also make it slightly easier to get it straight. But apparently... Oh, no, actually, that is actually pretty damn straight. Push it back as far as it'll go. There we go. Yeah, cool. So we have two of them. See, you can have it without them, and it like, for example, when I did my practice version of this, it looked fine, but here, because the ground is a bit uneven, I decided to say screw it. And also because one of these is going to be a medical tent for kind of RP purposes, you can suggest that, you don't really want it just flat on the dirt, because, people will get sick, won't they? Right, okie dokie, cool. So let's put some stairs down now. It's a very, very simple and straight build. I like it. No nonsense. Can't even see the steps, so there's no point. But you've got some steps there, it's grand. Let's put a sign. So obviously, if you don't have the sign from the Adam store, then you can't do this, but you can just put any sign. But I want to put these here. Now these are obnoxious to snap anywhere. They basically don't snap anywhere other than perfectly onto flat walls. However, what you can do is you can snap them onto a load of shelves. That's exactly what we're going to do. Living on the edge, and we'll put something on the side so it doesn't look like there's a pile of shelves here. One thing I like about Fallout 76 building compared to Fallout 4 is the silhouette. It is handy. That is not perfectly straight. Why, yes, I'm spending ages getting them perfectly straight. What of it? Don't hate. Probably should have done that as a as a blueprint, but whatevs. There we go. Now, the cool thing is you can actually rearrange them. So one of them is a medical one. See, it's clipping in the top a little bit. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Because it's surprisingly forgiving. Still doing it. God damn it. One thing Fallout 76 does is if you don't move things substantially enough, they just go straight back to their old position. Because up yours, that's why. Right, I'll just move it back a bit. I'll arrange that when I do the decoration. But voila, there we go. So we've now got a little bit of a medical thing at the back. Obviously, it looks really weird with the old shelves. So we're going to make a little bit of a thing here, just to block it off and make it look a little bit junky. I don't want this one to look too junky, but a little bit of junk is always welcome. So these tires are from the Adam store, but they come back all the time, so you're good to go, to be honest. Oh yeah, that's just... I hate that noise so much. Probably because I build so much. I'll probably spend a little bit of time blocking that off with something else in a sec. But already it's looking quite nice and quite simple. So let's put some beds in. Because this is going to be quite a short-ish video comparatively. We can keep it. We can do a little bit of decoration. I've mentioned this before, but I really wish they'd let me rearrange these. Like, if they just let you manually, because I always forget where things are. So you got loads. I've obviously unlocked most things. Ooh, my controller decided to disconnect. So you've got these hospital beds, but because obviously I get everything on the Atom store because I'm whipped, and I build videos, I'm going to use these gurneys instead. So we're going to only have 2. The idea being is I wanted kind of like an emergency response camp for your settlers to be looked after. So let's put somewhere for the doc to sit. Put in a corner actually, so I can actually put chairs as well, so they get in the way. I'm going to decorate this off camera. I just want to put some of the basic bits in. I think they've changed these tents a little bit, so they're a little bit more forgiving with snapping stuff in, which is very, very reassuring. Not sure I can walk by. The cool thing is this will work quite well with the fact that we have new allies now. Because of the fact that... I've got the settler ones somewhere, haven't I? Oh no, I don't have one. Ah, see, I never unlocked the responders one. Boo. Right, I'm going to put that on the side there. Like that. Right, and let's put a flag down. And then that's I'm going to bugger off and decorate the whole thing. I will have to keep an eye out when the actual full responders camp comes up so I can get all the things. All the things! Responders, blue flag. Or do we want the white one? No, normal one. Because the fire breathers that aren't around in this section. Right, so art is the basic structure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear off. I'm going to add loads of little details to this. And then we will have a full little responders camp. And I will give you a tour. One moment. And we are done. So I'm quite pleased with how this turned out. I've mentioned in a few of my videos how I'm trying to go for a little bit more of a role-playing, kind of realistic, as far as you can push it with Fallout 76, because obviously we don't have things like the creation kit or mods, so we can't make things hyper-realistic. But it's quite fun to work with the existing engine and materials and think, right, how can I make this look like something you'd see in the game? And I kind of feel as if I've done a reasonably decent job here. So the whole idea was this was a responders camp, you know, it's a medical camp, it's more for emergencies, and I didn't want to be as silly with the stuff I place, so there's no pumpkins. I put a bit of flowers, but there's not many kind of plushes everywhere. I've got a few personal bits if you go into the player area here. This is where the player lives. Few personal bits there, but I've kept it quite kind of nice looking but not silly. And then here's the medical area as well. kept it quite simple. I could probably add a little bit more, actually, but I was getting a little bit OCD with placing everything in the exact right spot. You've got everything you need here, and this frame is really handy, because obviously I've kept it very responders focused, but you can sort of do what you like. I do love the entrance, though. The entrance makes me happy. It really, really works, doesn't it? If anything, the entrance is the part that sort of brings this together. It's where I kind of put most of my effort in terms of kind of focusing on where I position stuff. I do quite like those two lights. It looks really striking at night time as well. Anyway, I hope you guys liked that. Gave you a few ideas. So this is quite a quick one. I wanted something that was really swift to build, really straightforward, but still felt like a camp rather than, you know, an actual house that you've put up. This is something that, you know, could be torn down or abandoned without really feeling like you've kind of lost anything. But anyway, as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. We'll see I'm up to. I'm tweeting a lot because I'm working from home, so I will have shenanigans. And I will have more videos soon. You lot take care.